While Fear and Hunger is often renowned as being one of the most brutally difficult games ever created, there are multiple party members you can get to make your journey through the dungeons much easier. These include the floating head of an immortal wizard, a wicked demon child, and undead skeletons we can bring to life through necromancy. And today we will be using none of them. Instead, we are going to be using only Moonless the Cave Wolf to fight the eldritch monsters of the dungeons. While Moonless is the goodest girl and very beneficial in the early game due to her having an extra attack per turn and can take some hits in battle, she's extremely fragile as she cannot equip weapons or armor, which leads her to die after only a few hits. This, coupled with her being AI controlled, means you can't choose which enemy part she targets, and by the mid to end game, it becomes a challenge just to keep her alive through any boss battles. But today, we are going to see if we can beat the entirety of Fear and Hunger using only Moonless. Be sure to subscribe to not miss any future Fear and Hunger challenge runs or streams. Before we begin, let's go over the ground rules for the challenge. While there isn't a way in-game to have Moonless be the main character, she will have to be an extra party member. Next, any damage dealt to enemies or bosses will have to be by Moonless only. Third, we can use healing spells and items in battle and the menu, but they cannot do any direct damage or damage over time to enemies. Lastly, we will have to beat every new god boss in Mahabra, and at the end, we will see if we can take on and beat the Traces of Gro-goroth with only Moonless. Now the main question before we start the run is which character should we play as? I spent some time contemplating the different abilities and starting equipment of the main characters and settled on Darce as the best choice. This was due to mainly two factors. First, since we will be taking a tank role, we need as much survivability as possible, and Darce can start with the leg guards, which ensures we will keep both legs no matter what attacks we take. And secondly, she can start with Fast Stance, which gives us an extra action per turn in battle, allowing us more flexibility in guarding enemy attacks and healing with our off turn. With this, we are ready to recruit the bestest girl in all of Fear and Hunger. To get Moonless as a party member, you will need 2 rotten meat items, which can be obtained from the meat plates on the wooden tables in the starting area or from random loot drops. You will then need to activate the lever in the prisons area to drop the cage in the blood pits, which allows you to take it down to the caverns. Now, you just need to get into a battle with Moonless, select Talk twice in a row, and feed her a rotten meat each time. This leads her to join us, and the run can officially begin. Moonless's main attack is Bite, which does 70 to 90 damage and can cause bleeding, which does devastating damage over time to bosses, and she attacks twice per turn due to her having high agility. However, we can get Moonless some power-ups before we go any deeper, but the way to get her stronger is quite unique, as she must mark her territory around the dungeon. Walking on certain tiles will cause Moonless to hike her leg and mark that spot, and after 10 times, her bite becomes Jagged Jaw, leading her damage to increase to deal around 100 to 150 points, and after 20 times, it becomes Grim Jaw, which does even more damage at around 160 to 240 points and causes Confuse, a great status effect that will cause the enemy to skip turns. Due to us getting a certain layout of the caverns, we are able to grab the Soul Stone without having to fight the Cave Mother, and I decided to get our one free save in the Crow Bed before proceeding to our first fight with Schroeder. And with our luck, Moonless attacked his offhand and led to both of us getting hit and infected as she kept trying to bite his head, which has higher evasion, leading to the fight lasting way longer than it should have. Hopefully that doesn't become a common theme for this run. Please. We absorbed Schroeder's soul and immediately got ambushed by a guard where Moonless lost a paw but managed to one-shot his head. Taking out the priest was extremely easy and we got our second soul stone, but before we take on our first boss of the run, we will need to max out Moonless's bite and get some prep for our build. We marked more territory spots around the dungeon and grabbed the mock-up book so we can pay a visit to our bunny mask friends, and got extremely lucky by getting 3 empty scrolls from a bookshelf, but I decided to use them sparingly as to not make the challenge run too easy. Next, we slow danced in the meadow to heal our wounds and get some affinity with Sylvian, and went to the Hexen to get pheromones and loving whispers, completing the first phase of our tank build. Next, we hit enough spots to get Moonless's bite upgraded to Jagged Jaw before heading deeper into the mines where we set her loose on the Yellow Mages, and then paid a visit to our friends in the Cave Dweller village. We paid back their kindness by stealing their artifact before making a run for it, and Moonless managed to get some headshots in, allowing us to fill another soul stone. We then refilled our hunger by eating some bodies with the Gro-goroth clan before cutting open the first God of the Depths heart for later. We ended our run through the mines by getting Moonless's bite all the way upgraded to Grimjaw, and now it's time for the first real challenge of the run, the Crow Mauler. He serves as the first big test in any playthrough, and this run is no different, as we will need to tank dozens of his attacks for Moonless to solo him. Before facing the crow, we must defeat Isaiah to get his mask, as it protects against the blindness the crow Mauler will inflict with his flock of crows, which is a game-ending status effect. Against Isaiah, we first use Fast Attack to get an extra turn, then cast Pheromones in our bonus turn to make sure he only attacks Darce. Moonless then makes short work of the dungeon veteran by taking out his legs before biting his head. We loot his equipment and treasure maps for later, and with his helmet equipped, we're ready for the main crow man himself. We start by using a red vial, which doesn't do any damage, but makes his instant kill peck attack miss, but Moonless gets hit with Maul and receives the fracture status effect. We then cast Pheromones and Fast Dance to make sure we get hit by all future attacks and can guard with our main turn and heal on our off turn. The plan is working great, but this is where the major difficulty with this run shows itself. The computer-controlled allies in Fear and Hunger will normally attack the body part with the least amount of HP, which is usually the limbs or the head. This sounds great, but heads have high physical evasion, meaning most attacks miss. With this, Moonless will go after the head on bosses despite her bite missing the majority of the time, making our battle long RNG waiting games. But with enough time, the impossible becomes the inevitable, and after dozens of turns, Moonless is able to get enough hits on the crow Mauler's head to take him out. The first boss is down with using only Moonless, but now the real fun begins. Next, I wanted to battle the Salmonsnake to get its soul and make our tank build top notch, but I ran into an issue I had never experienced before in Fear and Hunger. With Moonless attacking the lowest HP body part, she goes for the Salmonsnake's eye first, then its tongue. However, the Salmonsnake's tongue doesn't function as a normal body part, as every turn it unfolds further before it will attempt to grab and eat the player with a coin toss event, and you must do damage to cause it to retract. You can defeat it outright with enough damage, but when it retracts, it gains all its health back, and Moonless can't currently do enough damage to defeat it in one turn, causing us to be stuck in a limbo where the tongue continuously retracts and goes back out again. It may seem like we're stuck, but there is one last power up we can get from Moonless that will make her a true force to be reckoned with. We go ahead and get the Blood Portal spell to make moving between the floors of the dungeon much easier before going to the City of the Gods, Mahabra. Using the treasure maps we looted from Isaiah, we can get the Scroll of Walking on Water, which allows us to go past the Salmonsnake's room. On our way, we decided to take out the Cave Mother using the same strategy as the Crow Mauler, blinding her with the red vial and allowing Moonless to take her out slowly while we tanked all incoming attacks. We then used Walking on Water in the Salmonsnake area to get into Nosramus's secret room and acquired the Scroll of Combustion, which we can give to Moonless. This allows her to cast the fire spell Combustion, which costs 0 mind, does more damage than her bite. It can cause the burn status effect. This can also stack with bleed from Grimjaw, allowing us to deal incredibly high damage over time to bosses. With this, we were able to easily take out the Salmonsnake's tongue, and Moonless made quick work of the rest of the monster. Now it was time to face the Fellowship of New Gods and strike them down from their thrones. The first so-called god we decided to face was Valtiel the Enlightened One within the Ancient Library. This fight tends to be the easiest, so long as he doesn't use any powerful spells, but as our luck would have it, he casts Black Orb right off the bat and almost kills Darce. Thankfully, we were able to survive with 5 HP. We then rinsed and repeated our strategy as Moonless bled and burned the giant brain, and with that, the first new god had fallen. Next is the Tormented One, Ran Shambara. After making a clone of ourselves and sacrificing it to summon the Cenobite from the Pool of Blood, we set up our strategy and came to another roadblock in our run. While Combustion is a fire magic spell, it's bugged and works like a physical attack, meaning it has the same rate of missing enemy heads as physical attacks, bringing us back to a battle of attrition. The Tormented One's first phase becomes a slog, as Moonless continuously misses the head, but after enough time, she is able to bring him into the second phase, which becomes an even bigger pain, as Moonless won't hit the outer rings to make him vulnerable, meaning she misses even more, and we are forced to tank every hit as we pray to the RNG god she can get one in, and hopefully a status effect. And after 17 grueling minutes, the Tormented One is finally down for the count. With 2 new gods dead, we are running out of mind healing items due to having to heal constantly in battle, and things aren't looking good for us. But we do have one more trick up our sleeve: Mastery over Insects. This skill tends to be pretty useless, but it does have one huge boon, and we can learn it with one of our empty scrolls we got earlier. You can use Mastery over Insects to talk to a literal bug, which will give you unlimited blue vials. And since we have the Alchemilia Volume 3 book, we can turn this into infinite light blue vials, giving us a constant means to heal. Now we could use a Pinecone Pig to infinitely farm healing items, but I don't have countless hours to spend, and since this has never been patched, it's a feature and not a bug. Now that we have all our healing items, it's time to take out the White Angel to get its soul, which is one of the best accessories in the game as it gives us 20 agility and an automatic extra action per turn. We then went into the Endless Dream to face the Skin Granny, whose critical state ends many runs, but since we have the Salmonsnake soul, we can tank all her hits without ever having to worry. We use the first turn against her to cast Fast Dance, then Pheromones, and tank all incoming attacks while Moonless takes out each of her limbs. And with that, the Skin Granny goes down surprisingly quick, as one of the easiest bosses so far. Outside of the temple, the Nameless figurine is a similar story and doesn't put up much fight, and after slicing open the last god of the Depths heart in the temple, we go to face the golden boy Francois. Since he can use multiple devastating attacks per turn, Moonless doesn't stand much chance if she takes more than one hit, so I equipped the White Angel soul and used pheromones the first round to ensure her survival. This led to us losing a limb, but we were able to heal and guard the rest of his turns, and before you ask, I didn't use talk on him to skip turns, so there was an actual challenge to this fight. With our tried and true system, Francois goes down, and we have officially defeated all new gods with only Moonless the Cave Wolf. We could technically beat the game here by getting ending D and becoming a new god ourselves, but we have one final boss to take out, the strongest in the game, the traces of Gro-goroth, the god of destruction himself. However, before we face off against him, we have some prep to do. We go back and grab the girl from the starting area and take her to the Lady of Moon in the Tomb of the Gods to restore our lost limbs. And with our full forms back, we head to the gauntlet within the God of the Depths body. We make our way past the traps, taking some spikes to the feet, but narrowly dodging all of the boulders and poison gas. I used a Book of Enlightenment right before the battle with Gro-goroth, as I knew this was going to take some trial and error, but my god does this fight give you little breathing room. I first tried our tank approach, but using pheromones the first round caused Gro-goroth to kill us, and Moonless taking more than one hit leads to her death. Now there is RNG, as only some of his eyes will open at the beginning of the battle, and each eye will use a molten attack, and he has a chance to use Burning Ray at the end of his turn to attack the whole party. After the first dozen deaths, we tried switching equipment to fire-resistant armor, but no matter what, he just kept killing us within the first few turns. The only way we were able to survive past the first 2 rounds was from Gro-goroth missing with his Claw of a God attack, but this was far and few between. Now you can use defense stance to get an evasion buff, but it is of course bugged, as most boss attacks aren't coded as physical and using this skill has no effect. But no matter what equipment or skill setups we tried, Gro-goroth kept killing us over and over and over again. Now I will say, it would be possible to kill him if he were to miss every claw attack, but I don't have the patience nor the time to wait this out. After a few dozen grueling deaths, chat had the idea to get another party member to tank the initial attacks, allowing some breathing room, and since this party member wouldn't attack or cause any damage, the whole of chat agreed it was fine and didn't break the rules, and chat is never wrong. So we reloaded our save after Francois, went back and got Kahara, who was waiting patiently in his cell, and back to the gauntlet we went. With full armor, he was able to take all of the god's hits while Moonless wore him down and inflicted him with status effects. And I'll go ahead and play the full fight here so you can witness Moonless in all her glory.
Let's see if he'll use his whispers on Kahara. Oh nice, he did. That makes it nice, we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I'll just use pheromones on Kahara and have him guard. And just let Moonless do her thing. I know, give accuracy. Just like that, we need it. It's rough out here. Oh my god. That's literally what we were looking for the last time. Of course, I think this game does mess with you. Literally double miss. Yeah, let's do it. I think we'll be able to get it this time. Yeah, that's true. I'll have to see if we can do something like that. It would be fun. Alright, come on, Moonless. Once she takes out the eyes, it should be pretty smooth sailing. Okay. Where's the elixir of mind? I'm trying to heal back my mind. I feel like Kahara die out to the... I know now he misses twice. I'll just let Kahara die out to the curse. I do think after that we should be fine to tank some hits. Come on. Come on, Moon, let's get some damage on the arms. I think she can set him on fire. That is the tough thing with her. She's going to take out both arms before she goes to the body. Once they're taken out, there's nothing he can do except that one fire. Alright, Kahara, you served us well. Oh shit. I'm so dumb, I didn't use pheromones on myself either. So now he's gonna try and attack both of us, won't he? I'm just gonna have to guard through. Yeah, I should use pheromones on myself that last turn. See what happens real quick. Oh. Oh, it worked. Unless you're still in this. Okay, we're good. Just can't use Burning Gaze, but if I don't guard, he might kill me. Let's just guard. We can do this. Nah, I didn't want to have to rely on Kahara the whole time, just for the initial part. Oh, we got it. This is the one. Yes. Come on, Moonless, bring us home. Yeah, she's doing some good damage. Or not. She keeps missing. Need her to use the bite attack again. She can get them both on there. We'll be doing really good. Come on, Moonless. Now we're getting all the misses. That's insane. There we go. Alright. Attack the body. Now I can only use Burning Gaze, so we should be... Of course. Oh, he's gonna take extra damage now, it's good. Just gonna heal up our mind in case we gotta do some heals. That's good though, she's gonna do extra damage. Is the fire effect from combustion the same as pyromancy? It might be. I don't know, I haven't looked at both of them in a while. Alright, come on, Moonless. We're almost there. Thanks, Scottish Geek. So the damage over time is weird. It's like torsos have a different variable for it. Like sometimes it'll be a larger amount. So it's not always 10%. Like this one, he only has 6,000 HP on his body. With both applied, it's doing 1,300. We did it. Moonless only.
And just like that, the traces of Gro-goroth went down, and we were able to beat the entirety of Fian Hunga with only Moonless. In defiance of the multiple bugs and potential roadblocks we faced, through attrition, patience, and willpower, not even the new gods or the traces of old gods can stand in front of Moonless, who in addition to being the goodest girl, is now one of the most powerful in all of the game. Thank you for watching, and I would like to give a special shout out to the Omni World channel members for their continued support. Become a channel member to get exclusive early access to videos and perks in the live streams.